Welcome to More Fanime. I'm your fan of More Anime. What's up, everybody? How are my More Fanimaniacs doing today? Comment down below and let me know. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the greatest villains in all of fiction. And that's Doflamingo from the One Piece series. Yes! This guy is absolutely fantastic. And if you don't want to say greatest villain in all of fiction, fine. One of the greatest villains in all anime, in all manga history. This dude is a psychopath and a badass at the same time. He's got the plans to succeed, and yet he's still lost to someone like Luffy. Luffy, yes, in a fresh, new form, Gear 4, beat Doflamingo back at Dressrosa. Nobody expected it. Of course, Luffy had help from his boy Law and the Straw Hat Fleet, but still, nobody expected it because Doflamingo was overpowered as shiz. He made the string fruit, a fruit that probably isn't that great unless you know how to use it, and he turned it into a fucking nuclear bomb. He used the fucking birdcage for a long period of time and then fought somebody in a high-level battle who also had assistance from multiple people during that battle and just kept on bringing it. Luffy got lucky in that fight. I'm just going to say it. Luffy gets lucky in a lot of fights, and I love Luffy. And I think that Doflamingo deserves another bite at the apple. I do not think we've seen the last of Doflamingo in the series. No sirree babo. I think that after he was taken by Sengoku to Impel Down, locked up, key thrown away, I'm sure, he was chained up with sea prism stone chains and left to rot in level 6. And I think he's the only one down there right now since, Blackbeard broke out everybody else. This guy's sitting down there reading newspapers that he's getting from somebody. I assume he made a deal. I remember he said something about how I want to see how the world's going to be after I'm defeated, because now without me, like, the underworld is just all fucked up. This guy, he's watching. He's waiting. I honestly believe Doflamingo has a plan to get out already. And I have a specific person in mind who will be breaking Doflamingo out. A man with the power to do so, and not technically the physical power to do so. Which I do think he could do that as well, but I think he'll use his political power to break out Doflamingo. And I'm not talking about no celestial dragon. I'm not talking about no admiral. Actually, I am talking about an admiral. I'm talking about a vice admiral that's going to get into Impel Down without a struggle and walk out with Doflamingo in one way, shape, or form. And this man, a vice admiral for the Marines, his name,
and just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward,
is Vergo. You see where I'm going with this? Vergo. From the Punk Hazard arc, one of the best subordinates of Doflamingo, other than, Senior Pink, obviously. He's still alive. I do believe so. I believe he survived the explosion at Punk Hazard because he's a advanced armament hockey user. Did you see him crack the shin of our boy Sanji, who had already gone through some major training to improve his hockey as well? So even Sanji said, that guy's dangerous. And I don't think we even saw the tip of the iceberg of what Vergo can do in a fight. I don't. I think he's probably the strongest subordinate of Doflamingo, but he was off, becoming a secret agent, infiltrating the Marines. Hell of a cool story, if you ask me. Became a vice admiral. It's not easy to become a vice admiral. Don't just hand that title out to anybody. No, I think Vergo survived, even though he was tag teamed by two unlikely teammates in Law and Smoker, and he probably underestimated that team up because he was so beefed out and covered in armament hockey, but he was, chopped up into little pieces thanks to Law's overpowered devil fruit, and then the explosion happened, and it seemed like he died. He even said goodbye to Doflamingo. Oh, no, Doflamingo said goodbye to him and thanked him for his work. But I even think Doflamingo might even have known that Virgo could survive. He could have. I think if he knew he survived, he would have came and saved him or picked up the pieces. I think Doflamingo possibly could have gotten in contact with Virgo after he was put back together. And you're thinking, Morphanime, how was Virgo put back together? You see, the explosion happened. Monet died before the explosion when her heart was stabbed by Caesar. Obviously, she's not alive. I wish she was, because she was also a very cool subordinate for Doflamingo and had a really neat design, and her bird and her snow fruit ability would be fun to see again. Fine, she's off the table. Virgo is not. I do believe he's alive, and I never saw his dead body unless it was completely vaporized, which is possible as well. But I do think Virgo was put back together by Marines who came and swept. Marines or CP0 agents that swept Punk Hazard after the incident that happened with Caesar and the Straw Hats. I think they found the pieces that were still alive and probably are like, hey, help! I'm a vice admiral. I probably outrank you. Help me. Put me back together. Law, the supposed Shishibukai, did this to me. I mean, if you didn't realize this, Smoker said he wasn't going to tell anybody that Virgo was secretly a pirate. He didn't want to make the Marines, I think they were from G5, he didn't want them to be sad that their leader, Virgo, who they respected very, very much, to turn out to be a bad guy, which Virgo is, a bad guy. Remember when he beat the shit out of Kid Law and Corazon? What an asshole. I liked him when he had his Rock Lee bowl cut, though. I wish he'd bring that back. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. So Virgo was put back together by the Marines. He was never outed by Smoker. And the last time we saw Smoker and Tashigi, they were headed over to Dr. Vegapunk. They might still be over there. They're very busy right now dealing with giant kids. Giant orphan kids. I wonder if they dropped off the ones that didn't become giants, or they brought them just to make sure they get all that shit out of their system first. Virgo got put back together by Marines that, he might know. Maybe some of the ones from his crew were there, just sweeping the area, making sure there was nobody still alive or pirates left on the island. And I think Virgo, watched and waited. Or maybe he was in the hospital. He easily could have been in a coma after that explosion and survived. And he could be missing a limb. He could be a peg-legged pirate now. He could be missing an eye. He could have an eye patch now like a real pirate. And still be part of the Marines as a vice admiral. Vice admirals have lots of power, but they are the government. I guess they wouldn't say they're the government dogs like the admirals are, but, they gotta listen. They gotta listen to the government, but he was able to infiltrate. He's a very good actor, Mr. Virgo. He tricked Law as a child. He tricked Sangoku. I mean, he's a good actor if you think about it. I do love the fact that he always has food on his face. I'd love to see more of that. It's a good gag. I do believe he could have gotten in contact with Doflamingo before the big fight with the Straw Hats, and maybe Doflamingo told him, hold off here. If you're still part of the Marines, I don't want to ruin that. You stay part of the Marines, and if something happens to me, which it probably won't because I'm a god, I'm a, celestial dragon and whatnot, you can come save me. And I think that's exactly what Virgo did, maybe during Wano when we didn't notice, or is going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if it was anytime soon. Virgo is going to go to Impel Down, use his pull as a vice admiral from the New World to be like, hey guys, my name's Virgo, and I'm going to be needing to check your prisoners out real quick. I need to get down to level 6. There's been some word I need to interrogate this. What's his name now? Doflamingo. What a weird name, right? This weirdo. I just gotta beat him up a little bit. Or if you remember, Doflamingo mentioned that they might send an assassin down to kill him. Maybe Virgo is that very assassin. Possibly. Maybe. Maybe it's our CP0 agent, Rob Lucci. Very possible. I do not think Rakuchi could take Doflamingo, but he did, obtain armament hockey, so it's possible. I just don't think it's going to be him. I do think Vergo's going to get there before or around the same time this assassin shows up. So anybody really could kill Doflamingo because he's all chained up. He's weak. He's a devil fruit user, and he's been chained up by fucking Sea Prism Stone. Obviously, he's weakened. He can't do anything. He can't fight back, really. So maybe the assassin will show up, and he's about to kill Doflamingo. Maybe he tries to get information from him first, which makes it take longer. And that's when Vergo walks in, just at the perfect time. And he goes, "What are you doing here, Marine? Vice Admiral Vergo?" Bah, 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 bah. Or maybe it's a whole secret thing, and he's like, "I don't know." Or maybe Vergo catches him off guard. Armament hockey punch to the face, knocking out this assassin who means nothing to the story. Breaks out Doflamingo. Maybe Doflamingo knew Vergo was alive and was coming to save him. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. Maybe he didn't know at all, and he's just like, "Vergo, you're alive? This is great. Let's go get some revenge." So he breaks Doflamingo out of his chains. The breaker of chains, Vergo. They leave level 6, and on their way out they notice, hey, some of our crewmates are here, and some of the ones that aren't annoying will get broken out along with them. So that means Treble is off the table. The last thing I want to do is see Treble again on my TV screen or in my manga book. I do hope that Law killed Treble and we just were never told about it, because he cut him up pretty bad. But I would like to see somebody like Dillinger get some character development. I would like to see Senior Pink. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Senior Pink? And of course, the great, with a capital G, Lao G, the senior member of Doflamingo's family. I want to see those members break out along with him. And they get out. They say, what's going on in the world? I mean, I might have missed a few things just reading the papers. Of course, Doflamingo might be all caught up and be like, we're going to go after it. And Vergo's like, what do you mean? It's time we go after the One Piece. So that's another pirate crew going after the One Piece. We have Shanks's crew. We have Kid, Luffy, Law's crew, another big clash. I could see Doflamingo going after Law's crew. What if Doflamingo and a handful of his family members, and maybe a few new ones, team up? Someone like Weevil, another Shishibukai who's kind of out there doing nothing, who supposedly is very powerful. He'd be a perfect asset to someone like Doflamingo. He gathers somebody like Weevil, and he goes after Law first, because he knows Law is someone he can actually beat. Law, who has, advanced his abilities, would be a decent fight for Doflamingo, who's been kind of sitting stagnant for a while, but with his squad behind him and the weak crew that Law kind of has. I mean, maybe Beppo will get some character development and go into Sulong mode and go head to head with Vergo. That'd be fun. I'd be okay with that. Or Captain Bart, give him some time. Maybe have Captain Bart go one-on-one with Senior Pink. Give Senior Pink a win for us. Maybe he slaughters. Maybe Doflamingo, with his psychopathic ass, slaughters the entire crew. Law's entire crew. Keeps Law alive because he needs him. He needs Law to help him get to the One Piece. And he chains him up, keeps him on his ship. It's sad as all hell. Law, who finally thought this nightmare was over. Maybe you should make sure Vergo is dead. The breaker of chains, Vergo. The man who I do believe is going to break out Doflamingo, because I don't think Doflamingo will join the Cross Guild. I don't think Doflamingo will join Blackbeard. That's the only other option. I just can't see Doflamingo following somebody else. He's a leader. He's a god among men. He deserves this bite at the apple. He deserves this chance to get revenge on Luffy and his gang. And maybe he'll do it methodically. First Law and his crew. Maybe Kid and his crew. Just picking them off one by one. Piece by piece. And who knows? I mean, I'm not sure if I want to see Luffy versus Doflamingo again. They're going to have to come up with a reason why Doflamingo's abilities have increased and he can handle Luffy in Gear 5. It's possible. Maybe he's advanced his advanced Devil Fruit abilities. That's possible. Or maybe Doflamingo will use his mind over the Straw Hat crew. Not sure. But I do think we're going to see him again, and I do think he's going to escape Impel Down one way or another. He might be dragged out by a Marine for an execution. I don't think they'll execute a celestial dragon in public, but maybe secretly like he's been saying. But it's going to be that assassin he's been mentioning, so that's not going to happen. I think we're going to see this assassin, of course, but it's not going to be anybody of note unless it's Rob Lucci. I'd be damn excited to see Rob Lucci versus Doflamingo, but I don't think that's where it's leading. I don't. I do believe that Vergo possibly... I can't remember, but in my head, I think that right before the explosion happened, right before Vergo supposedly died, he smiled a little bit. Because I think he knew he was going to survive that explosion one way or another. He could have ended up in a coma, and like I said, he could have damage on his body now. Could he be the man marked by flames? I don't think so, because they would have met him before that. If you remember from the last chapter, Kid had mentioned the man marked by flames, and I also don't think Doflamingo's the guy that Caribou was talking about. It would be interesting maybe if Caribou was secretly part of Doflamingo's crew. I don't know how that makes any sense whatsoever, though. It's got to be Vergo. Vergo has to get in there. Vergo is the key to unlocking a key player in the future of the One Piece. Because of Doflamingo's ties to the Celestial Dragons, I do think he's going to play a big part at the end of this saga. I would not be surprised. If we don't hear about any of this. Maybe in the paper we just happen to see a little thing. Doflamingo escapes the prison, or is taken from the prison, or disappears, and we just assume he was assassinated. But really, the government didn't want to admit that he escaped with Vergo. They didn't want to admit that someone had infiltrated the Marines, because maybe Vergo reveals himself after that. Maybe as he's leaving with Doflamingo, they catch him. Maybe they fight Magellan. Wouldn't you want to see Magellan again go head-to-head with Vergo and Doflamingo? And then maybe he's a little bit of a threat, and then that's when Senor Pink comes in and saves the day for his old leader? Yeah, I personally would love to see Senior Pink again go head-to-head with Frankie. One thing I do not want to see is Doflamingo team up with the Straw Hats. He's just too bad of a guy to have a redemption arc at this point. There is another guy Doflamingo might want a little bit of revenge on, and that's Bellamy. Bellamy didn't really necessarily turn on Doflamingo, but he seems to like torturing the guy. So maybe Bellamy will get killed by Doflamingo as well. Or maybe Doflamingo will force Bellamy back into his crew. I don't know why. Maybe that's a dumb theory, because he never really liked the guy anyway. Why would he even want to let him know that he's free? I don't think he would. But I do believe Doflamingo's going to escape one way. Hook or crook, he's getting out of that prison, and I think it's going to be soon, because we're in the final saga, the final stretch. Even if we don't see him in the papers, even if we don't hear about this escape, wouldn't it be crazy if the Straw Hat crew finally make it to Laughed Hell? They make it there first. They beat Kid. They beat Law from what they know. They show up, they land on the island, they get off their ship, and who's waiting for them? Doflamingo. Doflamingo and his new overpowered crew, and now Luffy and the gang, they have to go head-to-head with them after maybe a long battle they already had with somebody like Blackbeard. What if Doflamingo waits it out like the big-brained villain he is? He sees Blackbeard and how powerful he is, his 10 Titanic captains, and he says, that guy's dangerous. I've seen him in action here and there when he took out Whitebeard and whatnot. He's kind of crazy like me. Let him soften up the Straw Hats. You have this big, epic ending fight with Blackbeard and Luffy, and you think that's it? Luffy's like, I'm gonna get the One Piece. I'm gonna get the One Piece. La 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 la. Just like that. Skipping his, heart out. And they run into Doflamingo. Doflamingo spends the time while he allows everybody else to fight the Straw Hats to get stronger. And then our final fight in the series isn't Akainu. It isn't Blackbeard. It isn't Imusama. It's Doflamingo. Doflamingo is a character we met way back, sometime before the Skypiea arc. Come on, guys. That's a long time ago. We met him along with Kuma at the same time, before we even knew who these people were. At the time, I thought he had like the puppet master fruit because he was like manipulating Marines and whatnot. He was an interesting character then, and he's an interesting character now. There's still so much I'd like to know about the guy. He knows secrets that the Celestial Dragons know that I want to know. I want him out of the prison. I at least want him to get interrogated in the book so I can read what he knows. What do you think is going to happen with Doflamingo's character? Do you think Vergo's alive? I really do, because they made a point to show Monet die. They didn't show Vergo's body, and he didn't seem too scared. I know he's a tough SOB, but he didn't seem too scared. I want to see Doflamingo, Senior Pink, and Vergo back together again. And I also want to see Vergo in that bull cut. Please comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts on this theory. Please like, share, and subscribe to the More Fanime page. I'll talk to you later.
And just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer. I'm marching till it's over. And just like a soldier,